I'm Emily,
And I'm Eric.
and welcome to You Should Thank Me podcast. Podcast about a married couple in our 40s living in Ontario, Canada, with their two dogs and some fun things to chat about.
This week we're diving deeper into long-term relationships from navigating changing roles to how our perspectives on partnership have evolved. So this is similar. I kind of mentioned in the 12th episode that we were talking about relationships. I thought we had some more good things to talk about. So I wouldn't say like this is a part two, but
Along with similar lines.
yeah, because like we only really talked about like three things out of a big list. We got on ghosting and bad dates, but I think we had more stuff we could talk about. So that's why I was like, hey, let's talk about relationships again. Yeah. So
Cool. Thanks for that extra info. It
yeah. So how was your week?
was actually great.
Yeah.
Well, the weekend was great.
Yeah.
We had a llama lunch. A llama picnic lunch.
Weren't they alpacas?
I don't think so.
Really? I thought they were alpacas.
No, I'm pretty sure on their website when you book it, it's like they are called llamas.
Oh.
So I assume that they're llamas. But
Oh man, now I'm confused.
I know.
Top people alpacas. Wow.
well, it's one of the same.
Yeah, I know it. Exactly. It's like a bulldog's the same as an English Cocker Spaniel. Exact same thing. Yeah. Anyways, well, we did that.
Yeah, so that was really fun. So we had like an hour and a half in like a pasture with I don't even know how many there were, maybe like 7 of them or something.
Yeah,
6 or 7. Always 6 or 7. This is an ongoing thing in my family. How whenever we like don't know something, we always say 6 or 7.
I think there was honestly 7 or 8 because I could name like 7 on top of my head, but I feel like I'm missing one.
Yeah, I couldn't really remember a lot of their names. Only Stanley.
Stanley, Sassy,
Stan the Man.
Flash.
Wasn't there one that called like Lips or something?
Yeah, Lips. Yeah.
Wasn't there?
Probably the bucktooth one. There's Eyebrows. I also made my own nicknames. There was Dirty Legs.
Yeah, that's true. And eyelashes.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Eyebrows. You're
not
right.
the
You're right.
same.
Eyelashes.
You always, for some reason, get those things mixed
What?
up, and I don't understand.
Yeah. Well, you were calling Dirty Legs Dirty Arms, and I didn't like point that out. But either way, yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah, so we did that, and then we also had there's a lot of family events that happen, or a lot of birthdays rather, that happened in June in my particular family.
Same here.
And then we only really have one.
Yeah, but that's a lot.
Okay, well, I have 3. Winner.
Again, always the competition. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that my mom didn't birth people in the same month. Like, what do you want me to do?
Yeah, I think I'm just jealous. I wish I was born. And I think I mentioned that last time that one of my sisters was born like the perfect day.
Yeah.
It's just so jealous.
But that's jealousy of a different thing. I'm talking about you have actually. It's funny because I think you having all these birthdays kind of clustered. I'm kind of jealous because it's just like you have to worry about like 1 month.
One key month, yeah.
And then personally, mine is pretty spread out. Like it is very linear, but like it's only like a couple months where I'm like, hey, no worries this month of calling someone or sending someone something. But you're talking about us being in winter months.
Yes.
But which does suck.
Yeah. It would just be how amazing would it be if we could just have a party out back. Because we have a backyard that's a decent size. Not huge.
We can still do it. We just have to
that's what
enjoy the cold. We'll make snowmen.
Actually, we could have a fire.
Yeah, we could have a fire and make snowmen, and we could make a little ski hill.
And do little how you do like I think it's maple syrup. Like you
tap a maple tree.
No. Like how you put it on ice.
Snow.
Yeah, I could do that.
Anyway. I was like, we're just gonna tap a maple tree somewhere.
Well, a lot of people say too that I could just do a half birthday in July as a celebration.
Yeah. We used to do halfway to Halloween.
That's not in July, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
so,
sorry.
But it was just like some of my friends really liked Halloween, and it was just an excuse to get dressed up and have a party. And yeah, I'm totally for that. But anyways,
I know. I was going to go on a tangent on that right now because you said that.
Well, it's your podcast. You do what you want. Like
it's our podcast, but no, I was just gonna. It's just really more of a random statement, and you can reply if you want to it. But I don't like Halloween anymore.
Save it for another episode.
Yeah, save it for
Save it for
6 months.
save it for like what are
In
real
4 months.
holidays and what aren't real holidays episode.
Yeah, or just
coming
closer
next
to
week.
Halloween.
You don't even have to wait. Like, but you know.
Anyways, yeah. So then the weekend was llamas, and then also had like a family lunch, like meetup. So, and there's also Father's Day, obviously in June. So yeah, there's just a lot of things to celebrate.
Yeah. Called my dad, and we had a nice little chat, and yeah, he seemed pretty good. So yeah, no complaints here.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's discuss about what's on the agenda today.
Well, just talking about relationships again. So we have a couple. I don't know if we can always edit this part out, but we do have a couple outlines that we can like flip back and forth between. But the one that we're looking at now is from this week. But if there's anything that you want to revisit on from episode 12.
No, I think we wrapped that one up well. Like, I'm good with just pick one and we'll go from it. Whatever is the one that jumps out at you.
I kind of like the having like each other's back thing, and like kind of the topic of like loyalty, when not necessarily me coming up with these questions, but I can think of a particular time where I don't know. Why you're giving me a look?
Well,
tell me what you think I'm thinking.
Well, I think you're thinking about something that happened in a parking lot.
Yes.
But okay, so this is the thing though. Is recently I didn't really have your back, which I don't want to get into too much, but I kind of you said something, and that's all I'm just saying.
Oh, you can talk about it. Oh, I don't care.
And I get that, but you know, I think it's a bit too close to the bone. I don't want to talk about that.
Okay, yeah,
but
I get it.
I'm just saying that the person that has last not had their back was me not having your back, which it wasn't a huge deal.
No, not at all. But I aggressively called you out for it.
Yes,
too.
And you know, I was like Kemen and Han. I was like, yeah, you got a good point. It was like something kind of, it was menial to me, but obviously, you know, it's not necessarily how big you don't cover someone's back. It's, you know, you have to do it and you should do it.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, we'll talk about the one. You know, that's enough about making fun of me. Let's make fun of you. We'll talk about the one. Some jabroni. It wasn't
This was a while ago too. By the way.
Yeah,
this was probably like 2 years ago.
Do you think it was?
Or maybe pre-COVID?
I think it was pre-COVID. I'm so crazy. I took a picture of it, and I remember the guy's license plate, even though it's years ago, because I was just so upset how it went. Essentially what happens is I park up beside someone in a parking lot. Their wife comes up, just smashes my car door with their door. And she was apologetic initially, but I was like, obviously a little bit steamed. I wasn't yelling, but I was just like, okay, like, what happens? And then the guy got really aggressive and kind of in my face. I was just like, well, what do you want done? What do you want done? And I'm like, don't we like exchange terms? He's like, yeah, right. And then he walked away. And all throughout this time, you had just left. I
lined it into the store. I'm like, I am not having any part of this whole drama that's happening right now. I don't.
So I was pretty steamed at like the guy, and then like, you know, I'm kind of coming down from that, and then I'm like, yeah, way to have my back on this, and it was like, it was kind of funny because I do remember being pretty angry, and I was more angry at the guy, but it was like, obviously you got a sub stack of that.
It was like underscored by how you basically turned around and I like was not there.
and I think you were defensive initially, because like you're like, well, what do you want me to do? I'm like, I don't know, have my back. Like I'm like, you just have to stand there and like maybe like, and it's funny because there'd be situations where we've talked about this before, where if a policeman stopped me, you would be yapping at him, even though like that would be technically the same thing. But like in my head, I'm like, I don't need you to talk to me about a policeman, because it's like, it's a game of cat and mouse with those guys.
Yeah, that was a whole other. Yeah. We even have a plan now.
Yeah.
If a cop pulls us over, I am understandably so, and obviously I agree to this teamwork and this plan, is that I'm pretty much not allowed to speak unless I'm spoken to, because I have had pretty bad experiences with cops, and
We mustn't tell everyone you're a felon.
No, they treat me like one. No.
Yeah, no, there's been situations where you've interacted with policemen and it has gone in a very negative sense. And I'm not sure if you want to go through that. Like,
Yeah,
stories a
I'm
little.
fine.
Okay.
I don't care. Yeah, I mean, my main experience is, driving in like a town in Ontario and picking up my mom from when she worked like downtown, and one of my sisters was also in the car I was driving, and pick up my mom, turn to drive back home, and there's like a parade or like a protest, or there was something happening like downtown, so there's cops there that are like directing traffic, and I'm sitting at this light and the light is red, but the cop is telling me and waving me forward. So I'm sitting in my car and I'm shaking my head no, because I can see where he's standing. He can't see the other cars that are coming that obviously have a green light because I'm sitting at a red.
Mm-hmm.
And so finally, I don't know if it was my mom or it was my sister. I believe it was my sister, was like, Emily, you have to go. So of course I go. We get T-boned by this like F-150 truck. And I'm not even upset. I am angry.
Yeah.
I am so mad that this cop, who once again is just like essentially oblivious, just waving people through a red. And eventually the cop obviously comes over, asks if everyone is all right. And the first thing out of my mouth was, "That is your fault. That was your fault." And he's like, "Oh," like basically saying like, "Oh, is everyone okay? Like, I just want to, check in, like blah, blah, blah." And so eventually like nothing transpired. Nothing, obviously, like the cop wasn't charged. It was like a zero at fault accident or something, which is clearly not true. I mean, I was just thinking this too. How different would have that been if I had a dash cam back in that day?
Oh,
And oh my god, that would have been amazing.
You would have litigation rights, but at the same time, it's so hard to peg something on the police.
It's still hard, yeah. Even if you have that evidence, it's probably still like an ongoing battle. And then there's just been other times too where like cops will honestly just be in what I perceive to be very sneaky spots, catching people doing mundane things, like not. Which, yeah, I guess it's against the law, obviously, to not stop at a stop sign or not to go left when you're not supposed to go left. But when cops are purposefully, like, sitting in spots to, like, catch people doing these things that, once again, it's against the law, but, like, I don't know. It irks me. And now I've gone on a tirade, and I can't remember.
But, no, it's fine. Like, you were talking about your relationship with cops.
But how did that come up?
We were just talking about having each other's back initially with this conflict, and then how.
So yeah, that is why I can't speak unless I'm spoken to.
When it comes to the cops. Yeah, because there was another quick time to get off this, but remember I got a ticket downtown, and the guy was giving me the ticket and just went through his spiel.
Was it a speeding ticket?
No, it was a parking ticket. I was parked in front of you go up the ramp or something. And you kind of were even chirping him, and this is early in our relationship. And I was like, don't worry, like it's not a big deal. Like I'm in the wrong, it's not a big deal. And you were like, oh, where's the sign for that? And I was just like, dude, like you don't need a sign to park in a spot where I was, I will say, like, not trying to get off this, but I'm not the best parker in city, so. Yeah, when it come to that situation, you didn't have my back, but we had a discussion on it, and I've also had your back in the sense, and we've talked about kind of situations, including the cop thing, where it's just like, I don't need your assistance here, but like if someone is being aggressive, I just want an extra set of eyes, and that's realistically, and sometimes you can say something to kind of get me back on track too. Yeah. Because like sometimes I could lose my temper if someone's really chirpy, or sometimes like you can kind of snap me into like a good spot. But I most times that stuff doesn't really happen.
And I think, to be honest, I think part of that, and I'm not saying just like specific to you, but I think, and I feel like maybe a lot of like women feel like this. I don't know, but I certainly do. Is like it's really scary when men fight.
Yeah, I knew that was good.
So I just and then it's also very, I thought it was, for lack of a better term, like, sorry, this is insulting, but I thought it was, even from them too, it was like very dramatic. And like if someone got out and hit my car, like I'd be like, hey, don't do that again, or that wasn't cool, or something, and then I'd walk away. I
Yeah.
wouldn't stay and have a conversation with somebody about it because literally nothing's gonna happen. And also, my car is very old, so like I don't care.
Yeah.
And I know everybody's different, but yeah, I just think that, but now, once again, I think that we've been through different experiences, one being this parking lot, one being like the whole cop thing, and then me giving you background and context as to like
Yeah.
why I am the way I am in terms of that situation. But it's just like having a game plan about like,
Yeah.
and I think having, and I don't know if that comes down to them being like loyal. I don't know if that
No, I think it's
is
certainly a
is
form of
part of it.
loyalty.
Yeah.
And like, it's hard, right? So I also think about the situation at one time when we went to the bar and that guy said something inappropriate to us.
To me.
Well, yeah, and then I kind of
Yeah.
pretended I was gonna punch him in the face,
Yeah,
and I made him jump,
And
and
you said,
I
you
was
said something
I said
too.
I'm like it'd be that easy, and then I walked away, and he was so mad at us,
Yeah.
and I just kept smiling at him, like. But you were like, we didn't really have any talk about it. I'm not allowed to do stuff like that, which is fine. It's not like I'm looking for it. I just don't like when people are rude.
Yeah, and I would 1,000% agree with that, in the sense that I appreciate that, but it's just,
It's not needed.
well, yes, like I guess it's not needed, but this is where it gets confusing, and I'm going on all these tangents today. I think I'm like tired today. But another tangent too is just like I can't be mad at something that I also like. Like it's so contradictory where I'm like, oh, I want this like,
Macho
tall,
man.
strong macho man, and then I'm like, don't fight, I'm scared. Like it makes no sense whatsoever. So
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, it's confusing.
and it sucks because like I'm ready to go, but I'm also like 40 years old. I gotta like just relax. So
Yeah.
they say you take me out of the north, but you can't take the north out of me. It's just
Yeah.
one of those things, you know. You watch music videos where it's like, hey, a guy put a cigarette butt out on my coat and ruined it, so I knocked him out.
What was that?
Oh, that's just on like a music video, and I'm like, I hear you.
Oh,
I'm like,
sorry.
I'm like,
I was
don't
like, what?
don't be rude, don't do stupid stuff. Just like the one time that guy stole our friend's hat. And even
Yeah,
him,
that was another term that I had just thought about, like 2
yeah,
minutes ago.
and even he was upset at me, and I was like, dude, I just got
Your friend was?
well, yeah, our friend was, and he was just like, oh, I was gonna give my hat back. All right, well, anyways, we we didn't really get anywhere. Guess what? We watch each other's back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Is there a fine line between being like loyal and codependent? Do you think those are two?
uh,
I don't know if those
I
are.
think like, well, what? That's an interesting. I don't know.
I
Like,
don't know.
like that's such a different gear and a question because I think like when you're in a relationship with someone, whether you want to admit it or not, you are codependent. Like I get it. Like there are
Sure.
people out there that live in different houses and have relationships with them, but you can't deny that there's at least an emotional codependency. You know, there are people out there.
At least. Well, there's many different ones.
Yeah, I'm
But
just
you're just talking about.
yeah, and I'm just talking about like sometimes you hear stories where there's like an older couple and their boyfriend and girlfriend, and all their relationship really is for most of the time is just a call at 7 p.m. And that's a huge codependency because I remember hearing a story like a murder story
Oh my
where
God,
where
I
the
know.
call was
That's so
missed, and that's
sad.
how they found the person's body. So I'm saying like on the most minimalistic thing, there's codependency. And I think like is that a bad thing? Yeah, obviously at extreme ranges,
Yeah.
yes. But loyalty, I think they walk hand to hand, and
Mhm.
I think I don't think they're necessarily the same thing because I think loyalty, um,
You can have one without the other. Like they're not mutually exclusive, right? Like you can be
you can be
loyal.
loyal without being codependent.
Yeah.
Do
But
you have
if
an
you're
example? Like I don't see how you could. Like you'd have to explain loyalty to me in a way. Like I don't.
Mhm.
I'm sure you can.
I think it depends on, yeah, maybe the scale of the codependency, like in general. Like when I think of codependent, like I actually think of a couple that is friends, like an older couple that's friends with my parents, and they literally spend every waking hour and minute together and do literally everything together all the time.
Right.
And to me, that is obviously being the extreme version of codependent.
Codependency.
But you could also be disloyal where, say, you could be having an online affair or something, right?
But we're talking about loyalty. Like, you can be
That's
loyal.
loyal.
You
That's
can be
not loyal if
You
you're
can be
having an
loyal
affair.
and disloyal at the same time.
Yeah.
So that person spending every moment together is also being loyal, but they can also do disloyal things. Yeah, you had to. Well, the question was confusing. I'm like,
well, I don't know. Blame ChatGPT, all right?
Oh no, you're telling too much.
Yeah. I mean, thank you, robots. We love you.
That's, I don't know. One of your weird questions again.
Well, sorry. Is there something that loyalty looks like for us in our day to day, or is it just those like little things like, you know, on the off chance that we do go grocery shopping together and something, you know?
I don't know. Like, it's funny because I never think about loyalty.
Well, that's probably good.
Yeah, it's something it's hard. I will say, like, sometimes I have a big mouth, and like that makes me seem disloyal, even to friends. So I have to like rein it back, like, you know, because people tell you secrets and stuff like that, and including you. And I want to be a good friend, but sometimes I also don't want people to hurt each other. So there are lines, like, you know, I'm sure, like, you know, I don't want to think about lines with you because, like, if you murdered someone, like, am I going to tell someone? Like I'm sure there's a point, and vice versa.
Yeah.
But like, we were actually kind of talking about this with our friends, and we were talking about a reality TV show about someone that had like a really like knew a secret about their friend and didn't tell them, but ended up telling people anyway. So it got around to the person whose secret, which was untrue, and they were pissed at the person that held the secret. And we were kind of talking about like, well, what do you do? And I'm like, yeah, I'm loyal to my friends, but like, I'm not going to let something fester. But at the same time, it's a gray area because sometimes I know a little bit more and I don't want to spill the secret. I want to be like, hey, like, deal with this.
Yeah.
I know, like, that was a really confusing thing to follow, but I'm just saying that, like, I don't think about loyalty, but I also know that, like, I could be better at being loyal.
I think you're good. I think there's always lessons to be learned, and it's obviously hard because people are so different.
Yeah.
Right? Like, even how you would or wouldn't tell something to somebody about me versus, you know, what you're telling people about me versus what you're telling me about other people is probably different, I hope.
Right.
You know, so I think, but ultimately, I feel like we both believe that clearly our loyalty most lies with each other, right? Like, and that goes back to having each other's backs, where it's like, it doesn't, like, even if, say, in a situation, and I don't know, you can maybe correct me if I'm wrong or you don't feel this way, but, you know, if we're, like, at a party or something and, you know, I say something that is maybe, like, outlandish or, like, in the back of your mind you might not agree with, or I'm being this or that, like, in the moment, you probably are, like, you're going along with it and you're like, yeah, that's cool or whatever, but then, like, behind closed doors, it's like, yo, that was actually not cool. Like,
but we've had situations kind of like that. But yeah, I've never. And there's been times where my friends have said things to you, and I've held them accountable with what they've said too. Like, you know, and there's like the one time there. I don't really want to go into it, but like, you know what I'm kind of referring to.
I think so, yeah.
And it's I get it. Like, I do think you're better at being loyal, just because you're. I always like. You never say anything bad about me, and you know, I'm not Mr. Perfect, and you know, I'm left-handed. It's in our relationship. So I do look at you as better in that regard than I am, because sometimes, you know, I could be facetiously making fun of you, like I did that recently there, the thing that I kind of mentioned at the start of this whole loyalty thing that I didn't really go into, where I feel like that was kind of making fun of you.
Yeah.
Either way,
I also don't think that I'm as vocal. Like, I'm not as vocal.
You're also very not secretive, but you don't offer out.
information. I don't hold my cards very close to my chest, so I don't. So that's, I think, also part of it is that
I'm more extroverted than you are,
and you're more like, I don't know if this is not the right word, but like I think you are more of like an ally to certain groups of people or certain like you're a vocal ally where I'm like an ally behind more of like closed doors where I think like if someone's for an example like being inappropriate at a bar and having slurs or something or like to that capacity like I mean it depends
certainly
on
has
how
happened where I was at. I remember we had just an acquaintance, someone I see all the time, and we're actually talking about Pride from last year, and he had like just these comments, and I was just like, I'm like, don't say that. Like, you sound like an,
yeah.
Try not to swear, but I literally got, and it ruined the night it didn't ruin the night, but like people were like, oh, don't say anything. I'm like, I'm gonna say exactly what I want. I'm like, someone's gonna like attack people for their sexuality in front of me. I don't necessarily think like it's always proper to say it, but like I just think like when people are saying really like nothing burgers, but are being super rude. It's hard to explain because I think like you can be critical of something, but have something.
Oh
no, I was talking about being allies to people. I was thinking you can be critical of something, but you better have like a thought behind it, not just be that ain't right. You just sound like a darn hick. And you know what? Like, so yeah, I know what you mean by that. Sorry, I kind of went on tangent.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm a bit of a loudmouth. So yeah, man, I didn't think this episode would go this way. I thought we were talking about relationships, we're talking about loyalty. Mm-hmm. What's one thing you're still actively working on in your relationship?
I think communication, which I know is such like a cliche thing to say.
But it's so important. It's so important.
You communicated to me this morning without saying
oh my God.
word.
Look, I don't.
But that was so like passive aggressive.
I was literally
which is not really you at all.
Like, but it was really like it was not a mean thing.
I thought it was. So I come downstairs to let the dogs out at like 7:30 in the morning, and on the kitchen counter, which is like right near the door, to let the dogs out, Eric has lined up. I think it was 2 water bottles and like half drank Diet Coke.
All of them are half drank.
Yeah, true. All of which were allegedly mine.
They were. They all were because mine was over on my desk.
Yeah. So he just like lines them up all straight in a nice line, like by the front door, and I walk down and I look at it. I'm like, okay, I get it.
Yeah, but bear in mind, I've had a previous conversation where I'm like, do you mind like emptying out your cans and throwing them out when you're about to go to bed at night? Mm-hmm. And, like so, and it's not like it's like been a bugaboo or whatever you call it there.
Yeah.
I just mentioned it once, and you were good for a week, and then I've been finding them for the past couple weeks, and then I just thought, hey, this is just a great message. But it was certainly passive aggressive. It's not something I'm gonna make. I'm not gonna be doing it like all the time. I thought it was more funny than anything.
I thought it was kind of funny too. I just kind of looked at them and laughed. I'm like, okay, I get it. Like I get it on the different levels. Not only like either maybe like finish more of the drinks or B just dispose of them and I know too that, and once again we can delete this part as well, but you have a weird sound sensation with like straws in Diet Coke. Like I have a plastic straw and then like this it's not a plastic straw. It's like a real straw that you use. It's reusable straw
or something.
Well, one of them's steel, and then one of them's like it's really hard plastic. That
steel against like an aluminum can, like that, like scratching sound annoys me. It's like chalk on a board.
And then I normally too, though, especially with the aluminum one, is I pull the tab down so then because it's very thin. So I love how you're getting.
It actually hurts me because I can hear it and I see it in my head.
Yeah.
I don't like that sound. I don't like the sound of styrofoam. I don't like the sound of chalk on the board. There are sounds that annoy me.
Oh.
But I never say anything. Like you probably didn't know this until like years in our relationship. I feel like I didn't really say anything.
I agree, but like why? Why didn't you say anything?
Oh, because it's like so minuscule. And I just thought like, if you're gonna tell me to put my stuff back on the right side of the drawer, the left side of the drawer, I'm gonna tell you that things annoy me sound.
That also I just did, and we've been living together for like almost 7 years.
Well, why didn't you tell me that me putting something on the wrong side of the drawer is annoying to you? It's not like it's a big deal. Like, it's just something like, hey, you mind doing this really small thing that would make my life like that's the thing about communication of living with someone is that every little thing can annoy you, but you can also ask if that little thing can be improved.
Yeah, but I also think though too that there is a point, and I've learned this I think from how my family was like growing up too.
Yeah.
Is that there's also a point of like where it's actually like a you issue, like a you issue as in like a me issue, like for me to want somebody to do X, Y, Z, that's on me. Like, unless it's something like that's like really important. So you're like, okay, well, the trash is molding. Like, take it out.
We both have you issue things for sure.
Like, well, I guess it's me issue things.
You do have some you issue things, but I as well. Like, I think honestly, me just going on these like angry like soapbox things about hitting red lights and stuff like that, and that's another thing. Is like I have a special ability to hit every red light in town. Mm-hmm. It's special. I can't explain it. It happens.
And I didn't believe you.
And it happens, right? But like sometimes I'll hit 5 in a row and I'm set off. I just can't deal with it. And it's I'm like rules to the rules driver. I will not blow a red light. But I can drive a little aggressive. But like there's things about me that like it's me getting angry about nothing. Like stop it. So that's a you issue thing where I have to like put my just I sound like I have unresolved anger issues. Like I do have like a temper and I have to like curb it, and I don't want to sound like I'm an abusive person or something like that. I just want to admit that like it's something I deal with because just about you talking about your family, I come from a family where we're quite vocal, and that's me being nice about our problems with each other. So I think it's something that I've learned and I've always had to deal with. So when I hit 5 red lights in a row, I have to like check myself because it just hits somewhere in my brain.
Well, that's understandable though too. To me, I feel like that would annoy anybody. But it's funny how you joked about it. Like, I feel like you've heard this where you're like, "What have I done in my past life to like deserve this?
Who did I wrong? Who did I wrong?"
Yeah, some urban designer.
But yeah, you do have you issues, but I will commend you that you are really good at just getting past them. And maybe you don't get past them, but like you're very good at not necessarily vocalizing everything. Like it can't be understated that there are things that annoy you that are just like day-to-day things, and you don't necessarily let me have it. But if there's something that is small that I can fix, you'll tell me, and I try my best to react well, and I think I do. Like, obviously you tell me to put something on the right side of the drawer, and I was just like, what? Like, I was so like...
Well, this is what, once again, I told my mom this, I guess it was like last month, we did like a mother-daughter like spa day / night at like a local hotel or whatever. But I was just telling her that like one of the random interesting things that I've learned about being married with you is because you're left-handed, how you obviously put things away are like kind of opposite to how I put them away, which is such a dumb thing. But it actually confused me in the sense of like a primary example is like our electric kettle, where someone who's obviously right-handed picks it up with their handle on the right hand, and they pour it to the right or whatever, right? And so then for some reason I'm like, why is this kettle handle always on the left side? I'm so confused. Like, I don't get it. And then it was the same thing for like our alcohol cabinet, which is also randomly enough where like I keep our protein shake stuff. But every time I opened the protein side, which was on the right side, there'd be the vodkas like right beside it. And I was so confused. I'm like, oh yeah, duh. It's because he's left-handed. So he's obviously putting everything away like that makes sense for a left-handed person, or things are happening for a left-handed person. And to your point earlier, I wouldn't normally obviously say anything to you about it, and I was just like, to me that's something that I honestly just said something as like an optional thing to be like, and for some reason the vodka thing just like annoyed me because I'd have to move it every single morning out of the way, which is so dumb, I know, to get to the protein shake stuff. But we had a conversation too, and like I said, I kind of said it like in a very nonchalant way. I'm like, take it as you, yeah, like take it as you will. Like you don't have to do it. Like I get it if you don't, because I said that why is my way the right way? Like literally, like why is somebody who's right-handed get the dominating like whatever, and especially when you're living in a right-handed world, there's so many things that already is like annoying to you.
Yeah, and it's funny because like I've learned to use my right hand for a lot of stuff, but I am dominantly left.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I've never really, it's never really bothered me to living in a right-handed world, which we certainly do. You'd have to be left-handed to really know, and if you know, you know.
I brush my teeth with my left hand.
Hero. Jesus. What are you thankful this week that you brush your teeth with your left hand? But yeah, so no, it was an interesting thing. It's funny because it was funny. Just the way you're like, I have to tell you something, and I'm always just like,
you're always scared. Yeah. I also normally don't ever really do that. I'm never just like, let me like tell you all my deep dark thoughts.
But I'm glad that you mentioned it. Now everyone can hear about marital bliss, about the conversations we have, the min-maxing of kettles in the house and everything.
I mean, if those are our like quote unquote problems, then
we're doing pretty good.
But yeah, and I think, but to wrap up that whole sort of topic in the sense of like, I think we were saying like, what are we actively working on? It's like just that communication piece, right? Because like, it's just, and there's probably little things too that I do, obviously, that annoy you, that you don't necessarily communicate them all, just like kind of I do. But sometimes I think there's like things that you can just let, like for myself, like once again, let roll off my back. And also that it's like a me issue and that it's not fair to put it on you.
Sometimes what I like to do is that I like to like take a step back and be like, are you really being annoying or is it just me in a bad mood? And 9 times out of 10, I need to have something to eat and something to have a drink, and I'm over it. Sure. Because a lot of stuff too is perpetuated just by like waking up and being like, you know, like just a bit groggy and stuff. And you know, I say that like sometimes something really makes me mad, not necessarily about you, and I'm like, I'm gonna sleep on it, and if I'm still angry about it in the morning, I'm gonna say something about it. And most times I have a sleep and I'm over it. And it's just those things where it's like, again, like when you're me and like, you know, I have done things to like temper my you know, negative thoughts that, you know, you have to find things to look inside yourself first. And then if it's a thing, then yeah, make a thing about it. But this is the thing, is that these little intricacies, you know, sometimes a lot of them can mean a lot, but most times they don't mean anything. And, you know, it's funny because you can say so many cliches like the little things count, and they do, but sometimes those little things are maybe just you perceiving it a certain way. And realistically, you make my life so easy and so great in so many ways that I don't have to be like, well, you know, wish you could do this one thing all the time. I just get over it. And, you know, you also have to realize, I think in one of the past episodes, we learned through science that you're hotter and cooler and better than me and everything. So sometimes you have to just take the L's, and as a guy that's, you know, not the cooler in the relationship, and you just it's no big deal. Like, okay, well, you know, that's why she gets the superstar treatment and I'm the second fiddle. All right, so we can put a pin in that.
Okay.
What a weird episode, by the way.
I'm sorry. I feel like I blame me.
I think we had like 3 good stories out of that.
Yeah, no, but I think, to be honest, like some of our episodes are gonna, or not some of, I feel that a lot of our future episodes will become more like this, where we're not necessarily focusing on like one singular topic, like just talking about travel or just talking about food or whatever, like, because I think we've kind of done a lot of sort of like our backstory a bit, I guess. So I think it's now going to be like sort of more weekly catch-ups and just like chats about like random things that come up and going on whatever tangents, unless there's like a specific topic that like really makes sense. Like you say, like if we're going to do like a holiday themed topic around Halloween or whatever, like, you know, I think it's just going to be more like a mishmash of things that we're chatting about, but we'll see.
Yeah, like people have had like 7 hours to 8 hours of content of two regular plain Janers. So it's there's only so much stuff that we can talk about. Look, people know the Canadians are boring, and we like to go out and we like to shovel snow and we like to have our poutine, and then that's it. Like you heard the story 100 times before, so. Our stuff's gonna overlap. We'll try not to tell the same stories.
No guarantees for me.
Yeah, and we will try to give you good episodes. But yeah, this is kind of like a rehash. I still think we could talk more about relationships in the future.
I've always loved talking about relationship stuff in general. Like even like one thing I've always loved is like romantic comedy. It's not that we have to talk about romantic comedies, but I'm saying like it's always been something that I read romance books. Like, It's always been, which I'm not saying that all relationships are only really romance, but like I've always kind of been intrigued and sort of been a little bit of a hopeless romantic in that way, and whether it's also talking about like friendships and all that. So
yeah, we can talk about. Sorry, you got stuck with me there, but
what?
It's all right. I will do my best to put stuff on the right side of the cupboard and all that stuff for you. So.
You're my forever love story. That's all that matters. All right.
So what are you thankful for?
Yeah. Going back to the garden, we hopped back. Well, you did all the work. I just pointed. You planted 3 ferns for me. Thanks shout out to my mom who graciously gave us some ostrich ferns to plant in our front yard. So thank you so much.
No worries.
For planting that. I was just pointing.
As long as there's no questions why, I'm very good at digging holes. Nice. Anyways, I'm thankful for you like planning this alpaca farm thing. It's maybe a cop out thankful, but it was so fun. We had some cheese. I had some discussions with the alpacas. They were very like they only care because like they know they're getting something out of it. But I think I might have a gang starting. Me and the gang, and it was really fun. Just had a great time, and that was because of you. So I appreciate you setting that up, and can't wait to do it again. I would legit like to do that again sometime.
Well, they have other options too. Like you could do there's goat recess, so like you just go and hang out with a bunch of goats, or there's goat yoga. And then there's also like a Highland cow experience. I don't know if there's a lunch. Probably not, because I think they eat your food. So probably just like an experience where you can have like one-on-one time. And they also, that same farm just recently, within the last couple of weeks, did like a Highland cow wedding.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. So
yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah. No worries. Okay. Well, that's all for this week. I'm not sure. We will have another episode up. There's going to be possibly, a problem for next week.
A little bit of a break for a little bit of a summer hiatus.
Yeah, summer hiatus. So we will see you probably in 2 weeks. No worries for the people that listen to us.
I know. I think we're averaging a staggering 13 views.
No way. That's
episode.
Honestly, that's 3 times more than I thought.
Wow.
Hey.
Lucky number 13 too. No, I don't know.
13. Anyway, so we'll see you in a few weeks, and when we come back, we'll have some good stories for sure.
That's true.
There's some stuff that's gonna go down.
Yeah.
That's all I'll tell you. All right.
All right. Well, have a great week, and see you next time.
Yeah. Have a good week, and we'll see you in a couple. See you. Bye.